Hello coders. Okay, so today we're going to, or right now what we're going to do is finish up where we were before lunch, and I think I need to add that button to the billing page. That was one of the first things I should have done, but I didn't do. And then we're going to build the checkout session webhook processor and see how that goes. So first up, I need to do that button, and then what we're going to do is just read some of the Stripe documentation and then plan for what we need to do with that. So I'm going to just quickly get into the code and build out that button. And that button would go sort of here, right? If we go to, it would be in billing. Because at the moment I'm just going to it through via just the URL, but I need a button somewhere. And as I mentioned before, I'm not worried about how this looks. I'm more concerned right now with, getting the actual functionality working. So let's do that. We are in billing, and essentially I just need a button. So we use Tailwind, href. I'm just going to do update payment method. Excuse me. And this is going to go to a path, which is update payment method. That's it. Obviously put in some classes, and it's pretty similar to this, although I'll just change the colors, I think. Right. Now I don't know whereabouts that's going to be on the page. Let's have a look. All right, let's just let's change it a little bit because that looks terrible. Yeah. I mean, I said before that I'm planning on changing this whole thing to be more of a dashboardy type thing. Let's just put it in a div for now and give it some padding. So we'll just do MB8, something like that, just to give it a little bit of. There we go. All right, so you click on this, and it should take us to the Stripe payment update. So if I did all of that jazz, and put this in, then it should save and fire us over the webhook, and then send it back to success. And there we go. Okay, so that's sorted. Okay, so let's do a git status, and you can see that all webhooks are being fired through at the moment. Okay. Adding button. All right. Okay, let's now take a look at the task that we were dealing with or discussing this morning. So, okay, add a button to the billing page that will redirect the user to update the payment method. That's correct. That's done. Okay, create an update payment method page. That's done. Update the payment method page will create a checkout session. Yeah, that's all done. So let's now look at this from the backend's point of view, so the webhook's point of view. So I guess what we should do, let's bring this down a bit. Thank you. Okay, so this is the docs that I'm going through. We've done all of this, we've done all of this, and all of that, and all of that. We're now at this stage. So retrieve the checkout session. So there's two ways, synchronously or asynchronously. We're doing it asynchronously by looking for that webhook. Excuse me. So checkout session dot completed webhooks which contain a session object, and we should have one in there. And in fact, if I was to run that again, we should have some more. I think yes, we've got 3. Awesome. So I suppose the first thing I need to do is actually capture this and save it as a fixture. That way I can just keep reusing it rather than having to do all the all of this stuff. So, and now we do this because we do this by serializing the event and basic 64 encoding it, saving it into the database. Which we currently have. So I think what I'll do is I will, at this stage, let's bring that up. Let's bring that up. Let's move that over to the side. Let's come. I kind of want another one. I need another terminal. Actually, I know how to sort this out. Let's do. That. There we go. I need the database. So. Yeah. So let's do an eval back to this, and let's do a Docker exec -it deep. Nope, I'll do this through Composer. I think compose. Thank you. And what I'm looking for is to capture that event. So if we did select. Now I can't remember how. I'm gonna have to describe the table. Describe Stripe webhook. Right, so it is payload. Right, so I need to select payload from Stripe webhook where type is equal to, well, I can just grab the event, can't I? Yeah, where event ID, because I can find that event ID is equal to, and the event is that one, I think. Oh, come on, rats. That's it. Let me just see. Select payload from Stripe webhook where event ID is equal to you. I think what I'm going to need to do, just to be doubly sure, is to bring back the type as well. Oh, great. I didn't mean to do that. Yes, that is correct. Okay, right. Before we go any further, let's just plan it out. Let's plan it out before we go any further. So, number one is to capture capture event, which is our checkout.session.completed in a data fixture. So that's what we're going to, that's what we're kind of doing. I need to copy all of this base 64 encoded string. That is the serialized object. Okay, so we capture the event. We put in a data fixture. Let's have a look at the documentation. I would rather spend a bit of time just planning. So retrieve. Okay, so this is all going to be done in a command. So I need to create a console command that gets the events, and then I need to create a checkout session completed processor to handle the event. So this here will what is this going to do? So it's going to retrieve the session. All right. Sorry, I keep pressing tab and I shouldn't be doing that. I should. Okay, so here. So get session. Get Stripe session. Right, the right choice depends on your tolerance for drop-off. All customers made, okay, that's why we're not using success. After you have retrieved the session object, get the value of the setup intent, which is the ID of the setup intent created during the checkout session. A setup intent is an object used. Okay, setup intent, where is that? Here. Okay. Excuse me, sorry. All right, get setup intent from Stripe session response. Next thing. I'm also going to get customer as well. Yeah, sorry, I keep pressing the tab button and I shouldn't be. Get setup intent and customer ID from there. Then retrieve the setup intent. So I think this is going to need to do a lot of yeah, this is a series of API calls, so get response. Next down here, so we retrieve the setup intent. That is our example intent. So we've got the subscription ID, we've got the payment method, and we should have the customer. Yeah. So yeah, it says it down here. So sorry. Get customer ID, payment method, and subscription from intent response. Set a default payment method. Okay, there are two ways to do this. We've decided to do this off of the customer's payment method. So That's the invoice. Sorry, on default on the customer. Yep. Okay. So, whoops. Ah, done it again. Okay, so then we set the default payment method on the customer. There we go. Right. Anything else? Nope, I think that's it. Okay, we can work through that. So, done it again. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working through. It's quite a lot there to spin through. So there's a lot of retrievals of things, lots of different payloads to capture, and I think to start with, we need to capture this checkout session. So, and that's going to be. Do you have an example of the whole thing? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. It's going to be something like that. So what we need to do then is... Why is that still blue? I thought I committed that. What? Hang on, hold on. I thought I had committed this. No. Hang on. Ick. I thought I had committed that. Oh, there seems to be a lot of white space there. Let's do a git checkout of templates, front end, account. There we go. All right, back to it then. So, first thing I need to do is grab this from here, put it on my clipboard, and then we need to go into we need to go into a data fixture, and I can't remember what it's called. Is it subscription? No, it's Webhook event. There we go. I'm just going to dump this down as it's on my clipboard. Just going to bung that there for a minute. Right, so it's the same, similar one to this, but it's obviously that payload instead of this payload. So let's just, these are huge strings, so let's just put that one there. Good. And this is, what is this? This is session completed. That is correct, isn't it not? Yes, it is. And then what we do is we set this to Webhook new, and we pass in the ID. Now I need to make sure that I've got the right one. It's that one, I think. Hang on. What was our where clause? It was that. It was that. That was the ID. It needs to tally up to Stripe. So yeah, okay, that looks good to me. So let's do a make db test rebuild to plop that in, and now we've reset the database. When I run that, we should only have one after I update the dump file. So from 3 it should go to 1, and we can see it there. Brilliant stuff. Good. Okay, so now we need to let's just commit that in, just keep it flowing. Okay, so now we need to write our console script in command. It's going to be very sort of not similar, but it's going to follow the same pattern as everything else. So our console script, if I go back over to here, have we? So we've done that. Here we go. Okay, so we haven't named it. So okay, Stripe. This is Stripe checkout session completed event command. It's a bit of a mouthful. I'm sure PHPMD will have a little thing to say about that. Okay, so we need to adjust the type of the event that we're looking for to be this. So that's session completed. And then what we do is we update the name. So we're going to call this one process checkout session completed, yada yada yada. Let's change that back to single quotes. And we got the entities in here, all of this stuff. That's great. We should be extending an abstract class here. What's going on with these? That's all fine. Good, good, good. I think that's all good. Then down here, when we do get new events, that should return, that should get the status and then get the events from here. So get status should grab, that's the status, that's it, yeah. And then the event type is an abstract, which is event type. And event type should be wired up there. Event type is what we've just changed. Okay, that's good. That reports the total events, and now we start getting into the mix of stuff. So I need to create a payload object that represents the checkout session, and then we do our magic down in here. All right, so I suppose let's just get rid of all of this for a minute, and that. I suppose this is kind of like where we can run it from. Let's do let's run it. So I need to get into a container, bin console, and run our command. It should say that there's one event, and then it should fail. If I've done it right. I've just realized I haven't drank any of my coffee that I made. Yeah, so we got one event found, and then there is an error. Cannot find payload store for checkout session completed. That's because we haven't created one yet. Yep. And that's what we're going to do now. So, okay, there's that one. Okay, checkout session completed processor to handle the event. That's what we're going to build, and we're not going to call it that. Looking at the naming conventions that I've come up with on here. So, right, so we need to create something that represents that pulls this down, and we're going to do this with tests. We'll test it. Test the damn thing. Let's go to unit tests. Let's go to subscription. No, or is it Stripe? Hang on. Event. Is that right? Store, payload store test. That's testing. did I? Hang on a minute. I'm just trying to remember where I put my. Did I do it in an integration? There, yes. Subscription plan, processor update, subscription plan. Okay, no, that's too far ahead. That's the processor, and that would be the processor for the customer. So we'll need to create a test in there, but we're not there yet. So maybe it was a unit. New event object. Oh yes, yes, this is it. This is it because I was faking them. Okay. Okay, let's do the same thing, but for our one. So it would be Stripe payload store, and it would be what did I call it? Stripe event payload store customer. So this would be checkout. Would it be checkout or would it be session? Maybe it's checkout session. Let's just see. So this is checkout session completed, right? So find checkout.session is types of events, checkout async completed. Is checkout session. Yeah, that's fine by me. So what I'm doing is my class is kind of mapped to these things, and they facaded, so that's fine. All right, so let's just get rid of all the rubbish that we don't necessarily need right now. Checkout session is the thing we want to play with. I'm just going to leave it there. This is going to be a new Stripe payload store checkout session. Class doesn't exist yet. Let's have a look back at the documentation. What do I need from this? I need the customer. So let's just put some notes down. So get customer ID. What else? I need the mode. Get mode. I think. Do I need the mode? Yeah, I need the mode. Yeah. Get setup intent, or is it just get intent? Get setup intent. I think that's okay. Customer mode setup intent. So from here we're saying when we grab it, after you get the value of the setup intent, which is the ID for the setup intent. Yeah, okay, fine. And then we retrieve the setup intent from here. Okay, so there's not much that we do on this at this stage, at least. So let's do get customer ID. I'll just leave it. I'm not terribly, yeah, I'll leave that. So we want to do customer ID is equal to store get customer ID, and we want to do like asset same. I'll just do it here. Get. Okay, now none of this works because none of this is actually created yet. I'm just thinking out loud, or coding out loud, shall we say. Okay. Right. Okay, so let's, because there should be, once I build it. Okay, so that's our failing test then, yeah? Come on, that symbol, thank you. So that should be our failing test. If we did bin, where is this? Is this a unit test or is this an integration? It's a unit test. Of course it's a unit test. Why would it be an integration test? Bin code set run unit -g. There we go. Fat fingers. Try it again. Bin code set run unit -g. Paste. So of course that's going to fail because I need to build those things, and we're going to set this to be cus underscore 123. So yep, let's go ahead and build this class. So that goes into where does it go in the model? It goes in subscription. No, it doesn't. Stripe event store, and it goes into here. So we'll just grab that. We'll paste that in, and this is called checkout session. And checkout session will have get customer ID. Boom. Don't need these, and the get customer ID will be coming from object event. Is that right? It's data object. Confusion. I think it's just customer, because I think this is what gets sent in the payload. Yeah. I think that's right. So it should just be customer. So object customer. Yeah, that's it. Gotcha. Okay, now it extends all of this jazz, which is great. So now I can do a stripe customer completed checkout completed event. There we go. And we should have, why is that not available? Get what? No, that's the command. What am I doing? That's not right. It's Stripe payload store checkout session. There we go. Let's get the right class at last. There we go. And I should be able to do store set payload, and we should be able to pass in. Is it an array I can do? And this array will mimic its object. Yeah. So it's object customer. Hang on, it's an array. And that will have the value of cus 123. Hang on a minute, why is that parameter event is missing? Ooh. Right. I see. I'm going to have to inject an event, of course. event equals new stripe, and I don't think it needs to do anything else than just the injected stripe webhook. That just goes into there. I could set the payload on this, but I'm not testing that. So, I mean, to be fair, that could just be a mock. But right, so let's run the test, and that should be good. And I'm gonna drink my cold coffee. Good. Right, next thing we need is the setup intent. So again, we do the same sort of style of stuff. So we create the test. My keyboard just lit up because I put the caps lock on. Okay, so this is get set up intent. Yeah, leave that as is, it's fine. So this is coming out of the object, right? Yeah, that's it. I will just copy you. I mean, it's a test. It's fine. Doesn't matter, it's all good. And we want to make sure that that is in there, and we want to make sure that this is get set up intent. Now, again, this will fail. It's our failing test, but that's okay. That's okay, that's okay. So let's go and create this. So get setup intent. Grab that, go into here, do all the things. Actually, it would be easier just to grab all of that. Paste this underneath. Boom. Get set up intent, and it is just set up intent. Yes. Run the test. Good stuff. Right, moving on. Next thing is we got the customer, we got the setup intent. I'm going to get the mode as well. So let's just put in a test for that. So this is get mode. No, get mode. Right, mode, and the mode is, where are we all? Mode, setup. Tabbing. So this is get mode, this is get mode, and that is get mode. Yes. So, right, that should be our 3 things that we need from there. Get mode. Grab you, paste that into there, and this would be mode, and this is get mode. Right, so we'll just run all those things, and then we will get back to this. So we've got the setup ID for the next step. Right, using the setup ID, setup intent ID, we need to retrieve the setup intent object, which will return this. So guess what we're going to do to this? This is the response of the setup intent. So I tell you what, we'll build the command as we go, I think. So with the command, otherwise we'll start drifting. The command. Do I have it here? Yes, I do. Alright, so this is now going to be our Stripe. Well, no. If we go to make payload store, this is our factory. So we grab that and we paste that into there. And this is now checkout.session.completed. And we instantiate a new Stripe payment Stripe payload checkout session, passing in the event. Good stuff. And we also, let me just tidy up my imports if I need to. Yeah, okay. So that gets that we then check that that is the right concrete class. So that's Stripe payload checkout session. So this is cannot find. Let's tidy this up. Checkout session, and then down here what we do. So we get the intent, which is payload store get setup intent. There we go. So and I suppose we could also get the customer from the payload store. Get customer, although it says to do this later on, but let's just grab that for now. Okay, so we're down in here, number 5. Yeah, so this is stored, and we're pulling things out of it, i.e. the setup intent. So if I was to run, let me just run this. Just make sure we are doing the right thing. Let's do a dump of intent. So if we ran, not that one. Nope, not going to show me, are you? Bin console, no, because you don't have Z shell on it. Damn. Reverse search of without the P, please. Reverse search of bin console app. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Right, there we go. That's our setup intent ID. Boom. Brilliant. So now we come into play with the actual processor. So the processor gets injected into here. So we'll have to come up with our processor. So we'll need to create one. Create one, he says. Like it's just something I can just whip up in about 5 minutes. The processor is going to have to do a lot of stuff, right? So the processor is going to need to grab the intent. So it's going to make an API call to get that. And then right. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna just shoot off for 5 minutes. I've got to make a call, and then I'm gonna fill up my coffee, I think. So I'll be back very shortly. Okay, sorry about that. Right. Hey, thank you for joining. Is it Uton? Nice name. Am I using Laravel? No, I'm using Symfony. Well, at the moment, I'm using Symfony Console at the mo. And my own stuff, I suppose, services. Working on some middleware at the moment. Let's get back into the code. Right, so we have our setup intent ID, and we need to build this processor that will make a call to get this. And I'm just wondering what to call the processor, because there's, do I call it an intent processor or what? I think we should call it payment method processor. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes more sense. Because, right, so what we do is we run this, we get that. From this, we get the customer, the subscription, and the payment method. And then after that, we set the default. And that should be... And then we set that, yeah, like this. And then that should be it, really. He says. How many times have I said that, and then 3 hours later, I'm pulling my hair out? Let's try it. Let's give it a go. I'm up for this. Let's do it. So... Let's have a look at our tests. It's going to have to go into integration. I think. Is it? It would be in here. These are the processes. Right, so that grabs that. Get user from... Okay, fine. From payload. Passing in the payload. Oh, damn it. I'm going to have to go again. You take a couple of days off, and right. Okie smoky. I've totally forgotten what we're doing. Context switching. It's great. Something to do with Stripe. I think that's what we're doing today. Let's go back to the. Let's go back to. I have totally lost where we're at. Session complete, processor to handle the event. Oh right, yes. I was going to create our payment method processor thing, and that thing makes API calls, which is going to be very difficult to test. I'm going to have to mock those. Oh man. Yay me. Okay. Okay, so it's kind of like this. Let's just grab, bung that there, put that there. Call this. So, payment method test. I guess I could drop the subscription, but whatever. This is going to be the processor. So we need to sort that out. And then I'll just get rid of... So I guess what we need to do is this get webhooks by type. Hang on. Whoa. Need to keep that method. Oh, I seem to remember now. I was going to put that in an abstract class because everything uses that. Okay, fine. Then we get the payload store. That is the payload store that we've created. So that would be Stripe payload store checkout session. We are grabbing the webhook by the type. So this would be checkout session.session dot completed, right? So that's going to pull that from the database and then pass that into there, which now means that we can act upon that actual webhook. Webhook that we need. Give me a second. Right, I think I might have to shoot out in a minute. Get that from here. We need to do get checkout session Stripe ID from payload, customer ID, setup intent, get mode. No, that is the right one. Payload checkout session. So this should be get. I don't understand that. Oh, it's because it's running off of the processor. Silly me. Yeah, okay, so this is our customer processor. So we need to create one for what we're doing. So that is in. That's the store. Hang on, I'm in the wrong place. Yeah, that's the store. And that is the handler. That's the, no, it's not. Sorry. Here, this is this is the processor. Yeah, of course it is. So this would be subscription payment method process. Okay. So we need to fill out all of this stuff. I'm going to just drop all of this for a minute, just so we've got something to wire up in our test, which is this. No, that's the wrong place. Let's just get rid of that dummy thing there. It's not that one. It's not that one. Nor is it that one. Here. Yeah, this needs to be subscription payment method process. Okay. We inject doctrine into there, and then from here we need to build the stuff out. So this would be something like fetch. What we fetch in. Fetch setup intent. Or get, find, or yeah, fetch, whatever. We would pass in the payload store, and that would come out as the setup intent. I think what we would need to do is like some that would return an object. So we would need to make sure that that is the setup intent object. So we would do assert instance of, and that would be setup intent class. Yeah, so we need to build that out. Sort of, not in there, sorry. Sorry, I'm going all over the place now, aren't I? I need to build it in here. This is the thing, this is the place that's going to do this API call. Now, the problem with this is, one of the issues is that we need to pass in the API key, which is okay. I can do that through the parameter bags, that's fine. But how do I test this? I suppose I don't know. Tricky. make sure this is all wired up as up to the point of failure at this point here. So let's do bin code set run integration -g and pass that in. Oh, that's going to run all of them, isn't it? Yeah, let's kill that. I don't want to do that. I want to group them by checkout session. I should only run that test down in here. I never actually got my drink. This is annoying. I got sidetracked. It's really bright in here. Okay, call to undefined method, fetch and setup intent. That's fine. So. Right. Now this is going to return our setup intent, or it's going to fail, and it'll fail. So we'll have to do a try. So let's do intent. Just quickly return that. Fix all the code fail. Right, so we need to make this API call. Passing in the ID that we get from the payload. So we should be able to do this. No, we shouldn't be able to do that. We should be able to do... We pass in the payload store in here, do we not? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we pass that into here. So if we did checkout session, so we do stripe checkout session payload store. Yep. So this would become, so we would do checkout session ID is equal to, no, we're not looking for that, are we? We're looking for the intent. Is checkout session ID get set out intent. There we go. That goes into there. That goes into there. Now, obviously, I know that I haven't done the logging into Stripey thing yet. That's fine. So that should return this. And from that, we want to get the customer, the subscription, and the payment method. I reckon let's just do a bit of rifting. Public function update payment method. So intent is equal to this. Ah, come on. Come on, this. No. Seriously. Fetch. So we're going to have to pass that in here. I wonder if I could just grab that from there. Pass that into there. That becomes our intent ID, which is a string. So that goes now into here like so. That does a return of view. Right, and then this here, we do customer ID is intent customer, and then what are we after? The subscription ID, because then I can mock this out, you see, I can mock that. So we test this, we mock that, and it's all good. So then we do intent, keep thinking there's getters, setters, payment method. It's not subscription ID, is it? And then down in here, yes, now we need a subscription, sorry. Subscription ID is equal to intent sub. Come on, where is that? What is that? Oh, it's metadata. Metadata sub. No, you're not going to do that, are you? Is there a get? No. To array. To JSON values. Update attributes. Come on. Hang on, what is that? Is that an array? It's an object, of course. I reckon I can do subscription. I reckon. Maybe. I can do to array, and then I can do metadata here. And then I could do subscription ID is equal to metadata, and passing in no, what am I doing? Passing in subscription. I think that's right. It's just subscription, it's not subscription ID. No, it is subscription ID. Sorry. Right, so now we've got all of our things, these things. We can then update the payment method. In fact, yeah. Yeah. So we'll need to wrap this around with a try catch and everything and do all that jazz. Right, sorry, just thinking. I'm just thinking. So this is going to have to make an API call as well, which is a pain. I think in because then it would be customer update. Essentially, it'd be all this stuff. if I was to just throw this together, it would be that being the customer ID. Sorry. Then it would be invoice settings, payment method, which would be the payment method. Where is the subscription ID? What's that used for? Oh, that's only used if I'm doing it against the subscription. Gotcha. All right, no, I don't need to worry about that because we're only doing subscriptions. We're not doing other products, so I don't need that. So obviously need to do a check on this. I need to do a check on these two, and I need to do a check on this as well. And return something, I suppose. What do I need to return? Anything? What's that? What does it return? That returns static or the updated resource. I think we can cope with void for now. Okay. Do I have a logger in here? No. All right. So there's a couple of things I need to do for this. I need to do public construct. I need to also pass in parameter bag. Interface. Always forget to do that. Because I'm going to set this to be protected. So this is the only public method available. And then we need to do this, don't we? We'll do this here. So that would be a private Stripe API key, which is a string. And I can't remember what we called it, so let me grab that from where would that be? It wouldn't be in there, it would be in anything here, it would be probably in I've got an idea. It'll be in our controllers. It'll be in payment method controller. There we go, because we're doing it here, aren't we? Yep. I'm gonna have to do something about this because this is getting quite. I think it's that one. Yeah, it's getting quite. I might have to wrap the client in my own client, which is like has all this passed in, because I don't like the fact that I'm passing in the parameter bag left, right, and center just to do all this. You know, it's being injected in a lot of places at the moment, and I don't, you know, that's not good. That's not good. So this would be this here. So we would log in, or you know, we would not log in. We would set the API key, and then we would do an update. So that would, sorry, we would do that. Then we would run that. To be honest, this whole 3 thing could be done in. The reason why I put this in its own method is because I can mock that out. So do update customer, and I need customer ID and payment method. So this would be string, and then string. Right, and then we would return that. Okay, so then this is update customer with the customer ID and the payment method. Yep. So now I can mock both of those. And function again, if this was in its own little thing, I could mock that out too. So let's do init strike. There we go. Right, so I can mock that, I can mock that, and I can mock that. And I would mock that to return an intent that would have these things, and then I would mock that to return various different bits and pieces based on that, and throw various different exceptions, because there would be a few things to capture here. First one is if that dies, or if that dies, or if that dies. Yeah. That whole init stripe thing is not good. I need to put that in a class on its own that's already set up. I need my own like Stripe client that facades this, I think, or like not facades it, like an adapter or a decorator, even a decorator. Yeah, a Stripe decorator. Yeah, payment decorator. Now the problem here is that we have set the parameter bag in there, which means that we've broken our tests. Sorry, not that one. Yeah, that's a pain in the butt. This is why I don't like doing this, because I could just, I don't like that. I mean, let's just inject the whole parameter bag in and pick and choose which one you want. See, if I was injecting a client, a Stripe client, that would just make my life so much easier. Anywho, because then I could mock them. Dear. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so that is not good. I think I've mocked the parameter bag before, but I can't remember how I've done it. I'll have a look. Because the thing is, bag, I don't want to, there we go. I don't want to, oh, it's just that, isn't it? I don't want to make live Stripe calls. I don't want to do that. Because every time I run these tests, I'll be hitting Stripe, and I don't want to do that. So what I want to do is just test my logical flow of it, whilst mocking the responses back. So, okay. Gosh, this is tricky, isn't it? Tricky, tricky, tricky. Okay, so there's that. Fine. This is so tricky. Because this is a concrete class, and now what I want to do is mock methods within it, which just isn't what I want to do. Because I do want to pull the entity out of doctrine. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. That's interesting. None of this is actually touching any of the database. So there is an argument to say, don't inject the entity manager. Anyway, I would do this create mock, and I would do subscription method process class. We don't want to disable, yeah, I need that. So we don't want to disable the, or do we? Fine. This processor, let's disable them. Disable the constructor, I mean. So this method, the method that we want to deal with is init. No, that would be mock. Like all methods of a mock are null by default, I think. So that should be fine. This one though needs to return the setup intent, but that's off the checkout session, which we've got a concrete class of, so that's fine. Okay, that's fine. So it's this one, fetch setup intent. Needs to return. Hang on. No, it is that one. It is that one that I'm having to mock, because this I'm trying to test the update payment method. There we go. And what I'm, yeah, okay, fine. So there's that. That will return, or not will throw, will return. A setup intent. Is that going to make an API call, or can I just create one? Convert Stripe to object. Object is static request. It's a post request. Yeah, can't do that. I can't do that. Rats. If I'm not careful, I'm going to mock all these things, and it's just going to be painful. What is it that I'm trying to test here? What is the thing that I'm actually trying to do? Okay, let's go back into the code. All right, so I guess I'm trying to ensure that this doesn't actually throw an exception. And so right now I'm swallowing all the exceptions, which isn't good. It's not actually going to save anything to the database, which puts that entity manager into question as to why I'm doing it like this. The whole thing smells. Yeah, the whole architecture of this doesn't smell right. I need to, okay, all right. So I need to, let's create some pathways. So I need to, that's going to return a string. So I need to make sure if empty setup payment intent, throw cannot set up, cannot get empty intent, right? So, and then down in here we need to fetch the intent, which is running from here, and I'm gonna only run it through one try catch just to make it easier. So that will throw an exception. It'll throw an API exception if the request fails. That is what I need to capture. So I need to capture that or an exception. What's it called? Sorry, what is that called? It is called an API error exception. Ah, there we go. API error exception, right? And that will also throw an API exception, I suppose. Yeah, if the request fails. So they're the things that I'm testing. So what I want to do in my test is throw those exceptions and see how my system handles it. That's what I want to do. I basically want to harden this up. So this would be test update payment method with intent exception. So what I would do at this stage will throw exception, and the exception is an API error exception. Ooh, there's a factory there. I just want to check this out. API error exception factory message is, so I would find a message from Stripe. I don't know, test message or something. And it will probably throw a 400 maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so that's that would be our. That would return our API exception, yeah? Yeah, okay, so that would be our exception. So from here, I want to do this expect exception message, test message. I mean, what I'm going to have to do is go through and check, make some calls to Stripe and actually, test these out. But the key thing from here is that it expects an exception to be thrown. How does that get handled? So we capture that. I think what I need to do is checkout session. No, that's not what I'm after. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of at what point does my application, at this point, the thing is, what I've got going on in my database, if I can find it, if I can get it, is there's an exception field on the event. So the idea is that if the event fails at any point, we store the exception message into the database, and that allows it to be retried again, or it gives us some logging as to what was failed. So I'm starting to think, though, I'm moving down into different territories. We've essentially done this and this and this, but we just and this and this. But the thing is, we don't have a test to check this, and because it doesn't actually return anything, and because I don't want to hit Stripe, it's very awkward to test. Very, very awkward. I do need to mock this out. I do need to return a. It would return. It would basically return a standard object, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would return a standard object with customer and payment method. Of course it would. Yeah. So, you know, this. Okay, let's screw that. Let's do this processor method self once will sorry, method no, that's the method name. That's the method. So this is fetch intent. Is it fetch intent or fetch setup intent? I've forgotten. It's setup intent. Yeah, will return a standard object. So n is equal to, because am I checking this at any stage? No, I'm not. Right, n is equal to st standard. I wonder if I can just use. I wonder if I can just do n is equal to new. So that would be like customer is equal to ABC. I wonder if I can do this. I don't know if I can. And then this would be n. What would this be? This. Payment method. I'm not sure if this will work. I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. Probably not. So it will return n. So that's mocked that method out, and we also want to make sure that it expects self. Oops. Once. So we want to make sure that that's only called once, and we also want to deal with the update of the customer. Which will return a customer. So, okay, all right. So if we were going to continue down that line, this would be so that's intent, 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 and this is customer is equal to new. I don't know if this is going to work. Who knows? So then down, let's get rid of that. So then down in here where we do processor update payment, we're passing in the payload store. That's gonna be mocked. That's gonna be mocked, and we need to Yeah, we need to deal with exceptions. So if we were to throw an exception, we would do this. Think. Checkout session, that's what we'd be calling it. Just want to see where that's off of there, isn't it? Stripe webhook. Aha, I see. Okay, I've got it. Let's do a getter on here. Public function get event. There we go. I know what I'm going to do now. Yeah, I know what I'm going to do. So we return the event. This event from there. So this is the Stripe webhook event. And then, and then from here, if we were to throw an exception, I would like to do this. So get event, set exception. Yes. And then save it. But I don't think I would. Yeah, no, I would want to do it here. Yeah, I would want to do it here, I think. Actually, this is tricky. I don't know if I need to do it in here or whether I need to do it in the. I think I'd need to do it in the command, actually, not in here. So if that was the case, then we wouldn't be throwing any of this stuff, or we would be throwing any. We wouldn't be catching any of this stuff. Not from this point of view. We would just be throwing a lot of errors. So in that case, then that's fine, and yeah, that's fine. It's taken me a long time to just sort of get my head around this. There we go. There we are. Right, so it's not that tricky, it's just getting these things off of here and making sure that there is a means, and it would have to be done in the test, in the command, to capture and save the exception. Yes, we shouldn't be swallowing the exceptions at this point, or handling them at this point. We should be passing them up, bubbling them up. Yeah. That's cool. Because then I've got the logger at that point as well. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, but still, how do I test this? I guess now what we could do is look for an output. So we could do a boolean, and we could do customer. Because that returns a customer, right? Unless it fails. Yeah, okay. Unless it fails. There we go. So this is going to return the setup of intent unless it fails. This is going to return the customer unless it fails. So gotcha. Yeah, there we go. That's public. That's public. That's protected. That's protected. So in our test, we want to make sure that we have our customer coming back. Let's not throw an exception at this point. We want to, on update customer, we want to make sure that we're getting the customer back. Yeah. Okay, so all we're doing is testing inputs and outputs. That's all we're doing. So assert we could do assert instance of, can we? Of customer, because it's just a mocked. It's just a mocked thing, isn't it? Class of customer. Let's give that a blast. Oh, that's probably going to fail miserably, I think, but we'll give it a go. Why not? This is live. Yep. Sorry, I've just been paying attention to the code. Yep, this is live. Live, 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 live. Thank you for joining. Okay, trying to configure fetch setup intent, which cannot be configured because it does not exist and has not been specified as final or static. Okay. Right, okay. Is it because it's not public? I don't mind setting these to public if they need to be. Cannot set the ID on the object. Hint, you can set ID. This is okay, so this is coming back from Stripe now, isn't it? Yeah. Test update with exception API resource. Yeah. You can't. Okay, this is because I've set them to FF, haven't I? Up here. Let's give that a go. Nope, that's not it. Cannot set ID on object. You can set. Is it that one or is it that one? One of these isn't happy. Update customer, which cannot be configured because yes, it's because they need to be public if they need to be mocked. Okay, fine. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. Yep. Okay, so exception failed from method name. It when invoked one time. Method was expected to be called once and actually was called 0 times. Hang on. Let's have a look at my log. There must be something going on in here. Let's do a bash. Failed opening. Error app is silenced. No such file or directory. What? That's not helpful at all. Right, so the error is that this isn't being called. It won't be called if that's empty. Oh, right. Or if that fails. Aha. Could it be that there is a problem with this? We would know because it would throw an exception, so that would be okay. No exceptions being thrown, so that's fine. Let's change that to, there we go. Unless I need to just, okay, let's take this out for a second. We can tighten the screws up when we're ready. Right, too few arguments to mock stripe process. Expects one in, okay. I think I would do that, would I not? I wonder if it's method accepts rather than accepts method. Yeah, that might make sense. Okay, so that's now passing. Let me see though, I just want to see if I can do expects. No, I can't. Strange. Anyway, it's mocking that as a customer, and it is returning the customer. So yeah, if I was to change that to something else, that would fail. It still doesn't cover all the cases though. It's just, that just seems to be, this is so tricky when you're testing, you're having to mock it. Customer. I suppose what we could do is we could check for that exception, couldn't we? Yeah, let's do that. So let's grab that again, paste it under here, but instead of pulling it out of the database, we so empty intent exception. Instead of pulling it out straight out of the database, which is great, what we do is we set one up. So we do payload store is equal to new stripe checkout session, passing in a new stripe webhook. Okay, fine. And payload store set payload is an array where we have an object with a setup intent of null. So that now goes into here. So we get rid of all of this stuff. Right. So this should throw an exception. In fact, we'll just run it. It'll fail, I hope. Okay, that's strange. Why is that? Why is that? Get setup intent. Set it if empty, then throw an exception. What? What? That's not what I was expecting at all. Madness. Let's do bin. Console. Run unit. No, it's run integration. -G. -F. Sorry. Oh no, -G because it's a group. And I can't find that. It's that one and it's that one. Right. That should fail. Oh, I've spelled it wrong. Sorry. Bin code set run integration -G. Right, this should fail, but it's passing, which is very strange. Like, I know we've mocked the customer, and I know the customer is a customer, and so I know that that actually returns a customer, which is what we're doing here, which is fine, but I've supplied it an empty intent, right? So there should be an exception. And I'm not checking for an exception, I'm testing for... I'm so confused right now. Payload store. It's just not set anything. Lies, all lies. Get setup intent. So that is going to return an empty string, right? Because I haven't supplied a payload. Therefore, that will be thrown. Which is the thing I want to test. But it's passing because it reckons that that is an instance of this. That doesn't make any sense. I think I'm gonna have to take a break and just think about this. I mean, this... Right, let's put in the test that we think should work. So this expect exception message, which is the exception message that we get. And if this passes, I'm gonna be so confused. Right, so here we're saying that cannot get empty intent is not thrown. Well, it should be. It should be thrown. throw it now. Wow. Okay. Interesting. What on earth is this? I'm confused. I don't know. I think I'm gonna just have to take a break on this one and come back to it when with fresh eyes, I think, because I'm baffled. I am baffled. It's not being captured anywhere. It's just update method. It's almost like now I've got the same thing back. Oh, it's because I'm doing it in VB. There we go. So method cannot get empty intent. Let's just grab that, paste that into there. Hang on a minute. Is it because I've mocked? Yeah. Oh wait. Oh. I think I understand. I've mocked the class. Yeah, I've mocked the class, so that means I'm gonna have to use only or has one only methods or something like that. What? Yeah. I've done this before. Gosh. So when you mock a class, if you want to actually use real methods, yeah, I understand what's going on now. Oh dear. PHP unit mock. Methods. Return different values of an existing object. No, it's has. I'm sure it's allow all methods. Yeah, here we go. Except one. Except some. Methods to mock. Run as normal. Okay, I needed to mock protected methods, a slightly modified version. So you would do it by reflection. There must be a better way. I'm sure I've done it differently. Expects this any method should get true, will return true. Run test code, it will use this one. I'm sure I've done this before. I'm sure. Isn't it this? This expects exception. This get current. This entity manager. This no. Has. I thought there was like a has or something to do with methods. No. It might have to be within the actual mock builder, to be fair. So in here, this mock builder. So I wonder if we get that and just take it apart. So let's do n is equal to, yeah, I'm sure I've done this before. We don't want to return the mock at this stage, I don't think. I think we do set class name, set allow mocking unknown types. Add methods, only methods. Yeah, I'm sure this is it. Only methods. Specifies a subset of methods to mock, requiring each to exist in the class. I think this is it. So what you do is you say these are the methods to mock from this class. I don't think I can do this from the processor's point of view. I don't think this is. No, I have to do it from here, and then I need to get the mock. So only methods is what? An array of. I'm sure I've done this. I may have even done this in this project. Let's just see if I've got this in any of my unit tests. Just so I can actually see. Nope. Have I got anything in my integration tests? Yes, I've done it before with GitHub. Aha. So we get the mock builder, we set the constructor arguments, and then we get the only methods. GitHub client. GitHub client is, and then we do GitHub with GitHub. We'll return the GitHub client. Yeah, right. Okay. I see now. This is starting to make a little bit of sense. So these are the methods that we want to mock. So we want to mock the fetch setup intent, and we want to mock the update customer. Right. So that now becomes this, and we do we I've lost it. Where's the GitHub authenticate test? Let's put this on the right, just because I can split it up. Okay, so only methods. Then we do get mock on here. There we go. Right. So now we get the intent. No, we don't. We do this processor method fetch setup will return the intent, and this processor method update customer will return the customer update customer. I think that might be it. I think. Because we've only mocked those two methods, we haven't mocked everything else. Being that we haven't mocked the update payment. I think that's where I was going wrong. I think I was going wrong because I mocked the class and then I was calling a mocked method upon that class, which would return null. or just not work. So I think now let's give that a go. Am I expecting that exception though? Have I just... Yes, no. Yes, I am expecting the exception. So if I was to remove this and to put that into here, then we should be throwing an exception. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. So let's get rid of this. Yeah, then what we want to do, pass that into there, uncomment this stuff out. So we're supplying, hopefully, at this stage, an empty payload store, which doesn't have our intent. So this should throw an exception. Which it does. Actually, no. Typed API secret must not be accessed before. Okay. Yes, I'm gonna have to mock. Yeah, I'm gonna have to unfortunately mock that too. Dear. So that would be rats. It would be the init stripe method. And I don't think we, because it's not returning anything, I think we're okay with just that. There we go, cannot get it, empty intent. So, okay, so I've mocked these three methods out. I've set some bits and pieces on here for those two. We don't have to worry about that. And this test is to supply an empty payload. And it should throw an exception, which it does, which means that we need to do this expect exception message, and the message that we're expecting is, not that one, sorry, is this. Yes, in here, which means we can get rid of that, which means we run this should now pass. Got there in the end. Right, let's run both of them. I thought that was going to run both of them. Oh, I need to... Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Cool. So I suppose at a later date what I could do is I could look at what exceptions are thrown from Stripe and then mimic those through my mocking. And what I would have liked to do eventually is on the when an exception is thrown, save that against the event. Yeah. So I'd make sure that that is in there. Cool. Excellent. I'm going to shoot off, I think. Why am I not using Xdebug? Well, I am. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be using Xdebug? How do you think the tests are running? Unless you mean, do you mean like debugging is in the sense of stepping through and you know, you running the debugger. I guess I could have done that, I suppose, but there's no need. I mean, this is just, I'm writing tests at the minute, and I just didn't realize that I could use the only methods method to mock out individual methods. Excuse me. Right, I'm gonna call that a day, because that, as we have done, where are we? Not that one. Not that one. Somewhere here. There we go. Done. Cool. And I need to grab a drink. Thank you ever so much for watching and enjoying the struggle. And I'll see you again. Thank you very much. Happy coding, everyone. Take care. Cheers. Bye.